And colleagues, we are starting our next press briefing. Ukraine continues to follow up and take all possible efforts to liberate Nadiya Savchenko, who has been staying in prison for more than 6 weeks now. And now we will discuss this issue with Vira Savchenko, Dmitro Okhotin, and Vira. Good afternoon. Let us start. I'm Petro Okhotin. I'm representing the Open Dialogue Foundation. Our foundation is supporting and assisting to liberate Nadiya Savchenko. We cooperate with Dmitro Levin and Pavlo Polosov, law attorneys. We organized several missions visiting Nadiya. There were members of Ukrainian Parliament, Oksana Prodan, Pavlo Brzezinets, and Malgorzata Gaszewska from the Polish Parliament. The objective of our mission is to monitor how Nadiya Savchenko is maintained in the prison and to inform the public at large about what's going on in Russia. We transferred and handled letters from different parliamentaries to the prosecutor's office in Voronezh. Besides Nadiya Savchenko's case, there are several other cases about Ukrainian citizens, Kolchenko and Cherny cases, which are the least described by mass media. Currently, they are detained in Butyrska jail, and unfortunately, he has got the suicide mood now, and he's suffering from depression. And also Oleg Sentsov's case. We have planned a new mission. We have planned new mission to Voronezh when there will be the next session of court devoted to Nadiya Savchenko's case, and I would like to encourage you to appeal to the European structures, to the Russian parliament, to use all the opportunities to make pressure upon the Russian party, because unfortunately they lack justice. I'm Valeria Rybak, together with the Open Dialogue Foundation, Dmitro Okhotin, we participated in the latest mission organized to support Ukrainian citizens which are illegally detained in Russia. And we believe that those cases which were filed by a Russian justice system, they are not well grounded. And our objective during the latest mission was to visit Nadiya Savchenko and Oleg Sentsov, and not only visit them, but to see them in person. And unfortunately, we were not allowed to do this. They both, Nadiya and Oleg, they are citizens of Ukraine, and we were not allowed by the Russian authorities to see them in prisons, and we sent a lot of requests. And even the counselor of Ukraine was able to see Nadiya after 9 requests, and actually, after the Second World War, there have not been such cases when representatives of one country would be unable to see their citizens in other countries without any grounds, actually. And we have information that those people are requested to sign up applications about resignation from Ukrainian citizenship. Despite that violation of human and citizens' rights, we also fixed up and recognized a lot of other violations of human rights. For example, mass media quite often are not allowed to get information about those cases, about the stay of people who are in prison. We continue to register all these violations, and now I would like to give the floor to Nadiya's sister, Vira. There are a lot of rumors wandering around, and people say that Nadiya gave up, but we have a strong hope, and Nadiya is not going to give up. And she wrote me a note and stated that any pressure simply causes counteraction on her side, and she's fighting. As for the government, which has started the procedure aimed at liberation and exchange with the prisoners, we would like to speed up this process, of course, and to see our relatives as soon as possible here in Ukraine. All the communication goes via attorneys at law, and her latest letter, which I received some time ago, and Nadiya analyzes in that letter. Nadiya analyzes the how that aircraft incident happened, and although despite that fact that she had very scarce information, and I believe that this Nadiya's notes might be useful for the authorities. Also, many people send books to Nadiya, and for example, the books by Vasil Stus were not allowed to be handled to Nadiya because the Russian authorities are unable to check the content of the book. It is in Ukrainian.
The questions, please. I will start. The question to Vira. What can Ukraine do? What else can Ukraine do to speed up the liberation of Nadiya? Where do you see Ukraine can put more efforts? It's difficult for me to comment, to judge that, because Russian Federation, this is a specific country. The pressure is growing. The situation is quite acute and more difficult. Earlier, Nadiya had more hopes. Those people who are there, there are not 240 of them. It's not just in Russian Federation, but those who are imprisoned, detained. These people are to be followed, their destiny is to be followed, the information is to be provided about them. I don't think we know a lot about those guys who are there in Russian Federation, especially in captivity, talking about different legal issues or the exchange by Ministry of Defense. That's different. There's one criminal case filed on kidnapping a person, and this case has been transferred from Kharkiv to Kiev, because in Kharkiv they cannot work on this case, but we would like to see more active work on that. We would like to see how the state is more actively fighting for its people. Are there any negotiations going on? Well, as far as I know, they're trying to negotiate, but the Russians are not very much willing. As far as I know, Nadiya has a new lawyer. How does he work? What's happening in this area? And also, where is the MP Brigинец, who was with you first time? He was here again, you were not here. Petro will talk about MPs. Talking about a new lawyer, I would like to hear the name. There are three Russian lawyers. There are three Russian lawyers who are working on the case. Ilya Novikov, Ilya Polozov, and Mark Fagin. And there's a representative of Savchenko in European Court, Valentina Telitschenko. Who are you asking about? My question is about what's happening officially there. The Russian side, in Russia, that's Fagin's team working, Polozov, Novikov, and Fagin, and in Ukraine, Vladimir Bogatyr, and Valentina Telitschenko is in the European Court on Human Rights. As to Russian Federation, there's no law there. They have their own specific work. We can understand these lawyers because they can do nothing in the legal framework. They have their own strategy of defense. It's more for publicity. We are working on finding witnesses who can prove alibi. But Nadia has the alibi, but you have to prove it. We are trying to provide witnesses to Russian lawyers, but Ukrainian side will be here in a week. Volodymyr Bogatyr, Valentina Telitschenko, they will be here. They will have something to talk about. They did not want to come this time, but they will answer all your questions themselves. I have questions to Vira and Petro. To Vira, do we understand it correctly that the most probable way of liberating your sister is to exchange her to Russian FSB agents? Because we cannot talk about the right of Russia. And Petro, can you talk more about punitive psychiatry? Why this person is in psychiatric hospital? Have they invented some diagnosis? Well, your question is right. Yeah, that's true. Most probably that's the strategy. That's what the Russian lawyers are trying to do. It's maybe so that this case is transferred to Ukrainian court. Then Russia will preserve its face. but probably they will not prove that Nadiya is innocent in Russia, not guilty in Russia. Well, continuing on to answer the question that you asked to Vira, this exchange, it's not under our competence or the lawyers or the family. We hope that it will finish as soon as possible, but what we can do is publicize everything that we can do about the process, about any violations, and we're trying to inform the world community about that. Besides the fact that Ukrainian MPs sent requests to see Nadiya now, Rebecca Harms and Angeli Wadowski also sent their requests about the situation with the health. Answering your question about Cherny, who's at the Serbsky hospital, we know that there were 4 persons arrested in the case against Sentsov. All of them are citizens of Crimea, and now the lawyers signed up the confidentiality agreement, and this is why they cannot publicize any evidence, and they cannot do what we can do in Savchenko case. Talking about Cherny, and I believe that's the strategy of investigators from FSB. They're doing everything to publicly divide the cases of Sentsov and Kolchenko and Afanasyev and Cherny, who allegedly witnessed against the previous 2. Cherny is in a scientific center of psychiatry named after Sinskoy, and we have this information from Lyudmila Alpin, the representative of the monitoring committee in Russia. When our representatives were in Sipskoy hospital, we were informed that Cherny is in Lefortovo, but then we found out that he's in Butyrka and he's in pre-suicidal state of mind. And the lawyers signed this confidentiality agreement, non-disclosure agreement or paper. So we understand that most probably he was tortured, maybe he was given some tranquilizers to get some evidence from him. And about Brzezinets, MP, about politicians. Alexei asked about politicians. Last time we invited Oleg Sakhovsky and Alexander Brzezinets because there was a big press conference where there were lawyers from Ukraine and Russia. Alexander Brzezinets is not in, could not get to Russia. Alexander Brzezinets was stopped in Minsk. They said that the system doesn't see you, and he has a stamp that he cannot enter Belarus or Russia. He cannot go to Belarus or to Russia now. Any more questions? My question is to Petro. When can we expect an answer from European Court on Human Rights or any other international institutions? I would like to emphasize that the Russian lawyers are working within Russian jurisdiction, and the Ukrainian lawyers are working with the European Court on Human Rights. And Tylichenko and Bogatyr and other lawyers are not here. That means that they're working very actively, but we cannot publicly comment on what they are doing, so that it's not known to Russian side. And the work is going on. Very active work is going on, and we will inform you when we have some more details. Okay, thank you, and we hope to see you again when you have more information. We're with you, Vira. The next press briefing is at 5 o'clock.